Yeah. Thank you.
Ooh, wow! Do I just take one? Oh, thank you.
And is this the kind of thing where, give people a sense of home? Or, it's not like some people have like a hobby or something.
I love this. I think I bought some of these from Aldi.
ਨਮਸਕਾਰ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਅਜੇ ਕਮਲ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਸਿਟੀ ਨਿਊਜ਼ 07। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫੇਰ DPS ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਮੈਡਮ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕੁਛ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਨਵੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਨਵਾਂ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਕੁਛ ਟੀਚਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੁਲਾਏ ਨੇ, ਜੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਣਗੇ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੀਚਰ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਨਿਊਲੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਇੱਥੇ B.Ed ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਸੀ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ B.Ed ਕਰਕੇ, ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਲਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਇੱਥੇ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਗਾਈ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਬਾਰੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਆਦਾਨ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਾਜਪੁਰਾ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਇੱਕ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ, ਆਪਣੇ ਮੈਡਮ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਨਵਾਂ ਕਲਚਰ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਟੀਚਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕਰਾਏ ਨੇ। ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਤੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਅਤੇ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਮੈਡਮ ਬਿੰਦਰਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲ ਗੀਤਿਕਾ ਚੰਦਰਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ।
So much. I really appreciate it. I've had so much fun.
Thank you, ma'am. So you are basically from Australia?
Yes, I'm from the University of Melbourne in Australia.
Okay. So can I know your good name, please?
Yes, my name is Melanie.
Melanie ji. So you are...
The basic difference? That's such a hard question. What I've noticed is how welcoming and how warm and how bright everything is. So people are very welcoming. They had a welcoming ceremony for us, a lot of dancing, a lot of bright colours, flowers.
Okay.
And there's also, I would say, a lot of culture, a lot of beautiful monuments and just a lot of nature included in the classroom and yoga as well. So we have spent the last week in Indore.
Indore?
Yes, and we visited Mandu.
Okay.
And it was absolutely lovely. Yes.
How do you feel? It's different in, of course, must be some differences in education system in India and Australia.
Yes, so of course I can only go by what I've seen and I've only been to 2 schools.
Okay.
But from what I've experienced is, again, there's a lot more connection with nature. I feel like well-being is placed quite a lot of importance. And I also think that the way that the classrooms are set up is quite different. So in Australia, we usually have, especially for the young, so early childhood, we'll have more of a open setup. We'll have different areas for students to go to, and then in India I found that there's a lot more desks lined up, so that's structurally something I've noticed that's quite different. I would say that there's definitely a lot of similarities. So we just conducted a Zoom call, which is something very common in Australia, and it worked flawlessly, so that was great. I haven't seen a lot of online activities, so beyond just Zoom calls, we have a lot of modules online, so students will complete things online, but again, I may just not have seen it yet, but that's something that I'd be interested in. I was worried because people said it's really spicy, but I think the cooks we've had have been kind to us. But the food is delicious. I absolutely love it. I think I prefer Indian breakfast here.
So most.
The most?
Yeah.
That's so difficult. I liked the bread. There was this curd that I really liked. There's also a sweet, I'm not sure what it's called. It's like it looks like a donut shape.
Jalebi.
Yes, it's so good.
So see, she's again smiling. Yeah? Now very happy. And how do you feel being here, especially in DPS Rajpura?
I'm just blown away, honestly. Ma'am said that this was a small school, and as soon as I've stepped in, I've just been like, oh my gosh, the kids, the colours, just the wanting to learn and to be here has been so impressive. I absolutely love it. I feel very lucky to be here.
Okay.
Yes.
And what different do you feel things are here in India, especially here in Rajpura, this school and the schools in Australia?
So I've taught at a few schools in Australia, 4 high schools, because I'm learning to be a secondary teacher. Mostly the biggest difference I've noticed is that teachers here tend to really sit down and talk about their subject material and sort of depart that knowledge onto their students. And I find that very impressive that those students are then able to really let this sink in and then recite that information to me. And I've had a student do that just before, and I was like, wow, you remembered that. But at home, usually we give 5 minutes of instruction, give the kids maybe 10 minutes of activity, back to instruction, longer activity. So it's more sort of split up into a little bit more independent learning, and my students are a little bit naughtier sometimes. But it's lovely to see everyone here really wanting to learn, and it's very special.
So that's nice, man.
Yeah.
And you had your
I've had my breakfast this morning, yes.
What did you have?
I had a very boring breakfast. I had toast and a coffee. But at the college I'm staying at, we've had a lot of eggs and rice and there was this one, jalebi.
Jalebi?
Yes.
Yes,
my favourite, yes.
Okay. So I hope your lunch is not that boring today. It's going to be very yummy. You know?
Yes, very yummy. I hope not too spicy because I'm not very equipped for that.
So what do you think? So how do you feel? They are very nice.
Oh, I just want to be them. Like when I grow up, that's who I want to be. As soon as they walk into a room, they just, have that command and that authority. And I've been talking to them a bit about how the school came to be within the 3 years, and just all out of the goodness of her own heart and wanting to give back to the community, even during COVID. And now look at us, we've got 500 to 600 students here, and I just think that's wonderful to really promote learning for every child, regardless of what you know or what you want to be when you grow up, and just really fostering that creativity and intelligence. It's just wonderful.
Okay.
Australia, a lot of the students are more they do it on their own, so we are kind of, as teachers, we use boards and PowerPoints and a lot of videos and kind of get them to direct their own learning. But I find a lot of the teachers here are very knowledgeable about their subjects and really depart that their personal knowledge onto their students and really have that expectation of them to remember it.
There's a personal touch with the students.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Any message you want to? Not the message. Anything that you want to take from India that you can tell your people in Australia that you like the most about?
That I like the most about India in general? Honestly, just the warmth of the people. Every single place I've been to, I've been greeted very nicely. I've been hugged. I've just been embraced so nicely and warmly. And honestly, it just makes me feel safe and comfortable and like I'm wanted here. And it's a beautiful thing.
And lastly,
Because I'm not used to it. But yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
to India and especially to TPS Rajpura.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience so far. I've been so warmly welcomed so far. It's been wonderful.
So, how do you feel sitting on a tractor and we are talking on video on a tractor, sitting on a tractor?
It's certainly not what I imagined what I would be doing today, but it's a wonderful experience. What a great tractor. It's so colourful, which is what I love. We don't have a lot of colour or colourful things back home, so this is fantastic.
Tractors in Australia are different, all covered I suppose. Yeah?
Yes, they're not covered in Australia, so you get a lot of the sun coming onto you. You get very burnt, and definitely not as colourful. You know, these beautiful hangings and colours on the tractor as well. It's beautiful.
And the atmosphere here, how do you feel?
I love this school. I love this school. It is so warm and so welcoming. We got some beautiful flower garlands. I think it's a bindi, and a beautiful dance welcomed us. And the students are so lovely. They're inquisitive, asking so many questions about Australia and about me. And I just love hearing about their experiences at this school. And every student I've spoken to loves their experience at this school. And
What's your subject?
I teach from year 1 until year 6. So I'm in my final year of study. So next year I'll be a fully qualified teacher. But yeah, teaching primary school.
Okay.
Australia is to do with the weather, and in the north it's very hot and tropical, and the south more Mediterranean, or similar to what I've experienced here in Punjab. But if you just hold on for 1 second, I've just got some. I feel very welcomed. I feel, I wasn't sure what to expect. I have heard all different things about India. It's a famous country, of course. But coming here, I don't know, everyone has been, anything they'll explain that it's so hospitable is the main feeling I felt.
I heard.
Well, to be honest, I think maybe the difference is in the students. I find in Australia sometimes when I'm teaching, you constantly have to ask students, please be quiet, don't play games on your computers, that kind of thing. Whereas I found here the students are very engaged, they love to talk, to ask me questions and that kind of thing. Whereas in Australia...
Disciplined, they are more disciplined?
Well, disciplined, yes, and happy to learn, I think, yeah.
So that's a...
It's such a pleasure to be here.
So how do you feel being here in India?
It's been amazing being here so far. It's been incredible, I think, to have just been received so warmly by all of the people that we've met here so far. It's been amazing. My first time here to Punjab, to be able to meet so many people and just get such a warm and special welcome, even though we weren't able to see the children directly in the class. It's still been incredible to be able to interact with some of them on Zoom, so it's been wonderful.
Okay. Did you have jalebi?
Yes, we did. We had some very interesting experiences on there for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So mainly the question that I'm asking is the way of teaching in India and Australia.
I think that's a really interesting question because there's a lot of things that I think are very similar in terms of the ways that classrooms are laid out, and this classroom wouldn't necessarily feel super out of place in Australia, but something that I have certainly noticed is the real way that Indian teachers interact with their students is very conversational and is very based on, I think, wanting to kind of draw students in. And something that I notice a lot in Australia is teachers will often just sort of assign a piece of work, a task, an activity, and just go, oh yes, here are the instructions, now I'd like you to complete this. Whereas in all of the classes I've observed here in India, it's been very much a conversation between students and teachers, which I think is a really wonderful way of not only kind of helping you build up really great relationships with your students, but also I think just making sure that it's a place where everybody feels confident to talk and everybody feels confident to engage in a discussion with not only their teacher but their classmates as well. And I think that's certainly something that I'm going to be taking home and something I'm definitely going to be thinking a lot about is how I can make sure that any of my classes at home in Australia are all very conversational and using dialogue to really talk and engage with the students.
That's right. That's definitely.
Absolutely. And it's just all about, I think teaching is fundamentally about building relationships between students and teachers. And if students don't feel as if they can trust you, or they don't feel as if you're somebody that's worth listening to, it's really, really hard to get the good outcomes that we want to see from an academic point of view. And I think it's just all coming back to relationships and building those positive relationships between teachers and students, and that's something.
So there is this Melbourne Graduate School of Education, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ B.Ed ਕੋਰਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਦਾ, ਉਹਦਾ ਪੈਰਲਲ ਕੋਰਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਮੈਲਬਰਨ ਗ੍ਰੈਜੂਏਟ ਸਕੂਲ ਆਫ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦਾ B.Ed ਇਕੁਇਵਲੈਂਟ ਹੈਗਾ। ਇਹ ਬੱਚੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਟੂ ਬਿਕਮ ਟੀਚਰਸ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਟੀਚਿੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚੋਇਸ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਟੀਚਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ, ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਫॉर ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਟੀਚਿੰਗ। ਅਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੂਮ 'ਤੇ ਕਲਾਸਿਸ ਲਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਪਲਾਨ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਇਨ ਪਰਸਨ ਆ ਕੇ ਕਲਾਸਿਸ ਲੈਣ, ਪਰ ਅਨਫੋਰਚੂਨੇਟਲੀ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਆਫ ਦ ਫਲੱਡ ਲਾਈਕ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਇਨ ਦ state, schools were off, but Zoom ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਲਾਸਿਸ ਲਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਆ ਕੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇਖਿਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਕਲਚਰ ਦੀ ਐਗਜ਼ੀਬਿਸ਼ਨ ਲਗਾਈ, ਬਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਨੇ ਲਗਾਈ, ਐਂਡ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕੀਤਾ। ਦ ਆਈਡੀਆ ਵਾਜ਼ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪੋਜ਼ਰ ਮਿਲੇ ਟੂ ਲਰਨ ਫਰੋਮ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਟੀਚਰਸ। ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨਸ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਐਂਡ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਹਿਊਜ ਲਰਨਿੰਗ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ। ਮੈਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ DPS ਰਾਜਪੁਰਾ ਇਜ਼ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਗਿਵਿੰਗ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸਿਸ ਟੂ ਦ ਚਿਲਡਰਨ।
ਮੈਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਟੱਚ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਏ ਵੀ DPS ਹੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ? ਹੋਰ ਤਾਂ ਕਦੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਹੋਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ?
ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਰੇਂਜਮੈਂਟ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਕਾਲਜ ਇੰਦੌਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਟਾਈ ਅਪ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ, ਅਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈੱਡ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਡੀਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਨੇ ਮੈਲਬਰਨ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ। ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਕਾਲਜ ਇੱਕ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੈਗਾ, DPS ਰਾਜਪੁਰਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਕਲਚਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਆਫਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੱਧ ਪ੍ਰਦੇਸ਼ ਦਾ ਕਲਚਰ ਦੇਖੋ ਆ ਕੇ, ਇੰਡੀਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਸਟ ਹੈ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਬਹੁਤ ਰਿਚ ਸਟੇਟ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਆਓ। ਅਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿਡ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ। ਫਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ DPS ਰਾਜਪੁਰਾ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ।
ਐਂਡ ਵਾਟ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਮੈਮ? ਪਤਾ ਕੋਈ ਬਾਹਰ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ, 20th to 24th there is a gentleman called Jay Sands. He is a music educator, ਫਿਲਾਡੈਲਫੀਆ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਆਫ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ 'ਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਉਹ ਵਰਲਡ ਟੂਰਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਵਰਲਡ ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ, ਕਲਾਸ 1 and 2 ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਵਰਲਡ ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਦੇ ਕਲਾਸਿਸ ਲੈ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਉਹ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਟੂਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਟੂਰ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਆਰਡੀਨੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ। ਅਤੇ 20th ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 24th ਤੱਕ 4 ਦਿਨ ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ, ਟੀਚਰਸ ਨਾਲ, ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ, ਸੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨਾਲ, ਟੀਚਰਸ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਵਰਲਡ ਮਿਊਜ਼ਿਕ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਂਗੇ। ਅਗੇਨ ਐਨ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ। ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਐਕਸਪੋਜ਼ਰ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸਿਸ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ, ਉਨੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਰਸਨੈਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਉਭਰ ਕੇ ਆਏਗੀ।
ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਤੋਂ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ,
ਤੇ ਹਾਊ ਡੂ ਯੂ ਫੀਲ ਕਿ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਕੇ DPS ਰਾਜਪੁਰਾ, ਔਰ ਕੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਰਿਹਾ?
I think it's a very mutually rich experience. Our teachers are very excited to meet them, and they are super thrilled to meet our teachers and children. And I don't know what picture they have of India, but our children have really surprised them. That's what I hear from them. They are well prepared with so many questions and so many queries they've asked them, and they've had beautiful sessions, online sessions with them. So since morning the classes are going on, and I've taken around, and I think both the teacher and the children, everybody is enjoying.
So they are taking classes on Zoom?
Hanji. The original plan was they were here for 2 days, and the entire day they were supposed to be in the classes, but because the schools are shut and we are carrying on with the online classes, so they are also taking online classes.
So what do you feel these cultural exchange programs, they should be conducted quite often, right?
Definitely. It broadens your horizon. You get to know so much more what's happening, otherwise you are in a shell. Our children here in Rajpura are getting exposure. It's not the first time that we have had people from outside. We've had people from France, Germany, Italy, Kenya last year. So we've had people from all the places, and this time they've come from Australia. And we have another guest coming up from the United States, in the next week. So all these experiences make our children get to know what's happening outside of Rajpura. It broadens their horizon and they are much more informed and they can take choices when they grow up.
So students of Rajpura should hope that these activities would continue.
Definitely, we'll make sure that they continue.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you so much.